Let's make some Dollar Tree Easter ornaments. For our first project, I'm going to take some of these wood egg ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint the front of them with a white primer. I'm using Folk Art gesso, and then on the back side, I'm going to paint them with ballet slipper chalk paint from Waverly. And then next we're going to take some rub-on transfers. You can get these from Amazon. They don't have the same ones I got, but I'll put a link in the description box below for some similar ones if you'd like to pick them up. They're like a sticker. You just peel it off the backing. Then you're just going to place it down on the center of the ornament, however you want it to look. And then you just take a Cricut scraper tool. I'm actually using one here from the Dollar Tree, and you're going to rub or scrape it on, then peel the plastic backing off. And y'all, that's all there is to it. These turn out so pretty. Look at how this one turned out. Then I'm just going to continue to do this with the rest of the rub-on transfers on all of these remaining ornaments. And through the magic of television, this side of the ornaments is complete. And then I'm going to take a napkin, and using the painter's tape method, I put a small piece of painter's tape on the corners on each side of the napkin and use that to help pull off the extra plies of the napkin. You want to be sure you get down to just the single ply with the color on it. If not, when you're Mod Podging it down, it could lift up off of your project. Now you see that I'm using Mod Podge and a brush, and we're putting a thin coat of Mod Podge all over each one of these ornaments. Then I'm going to take my heat tool and dry them, and after that is done, we're going to take and cut up each piece of the napkin to be just a little bit larger than the size of the wood ornament itself. That's going to make it easier to manage. And I needed a second napkin, so I'm just doing the same thing there to get a few more pieces. And then we're going to be ironing these onto the ornaments, and I iron them for about 15 seconds. And I do use a piece of parchment paper over the ornament so the napkin won't stick to the iron. Now, the reason we paint the back of the ornament white, or the surface that you're going to be using to Mod Podge white, it helps the vibrant colors of whatever you're Mod Podging down onto that surface really pop. The next step, I pick up my detail sander. I will put the link for this down in the description box. They are wonderful to use to sand off the edges of your napkin. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just taking my detail sander and sanding all around the edges of the ornament, and it takes off all that extra napkin. Then we're just taking a wood skewer and we're poking through the napkin so we can then put some yarn through each of these, and I'm just cutting about a 12-inch piece of yarn, and we're going to be hanging each of the ornaments from a thin piece of yarn. And project number 1 is complete. I will show you a closer look at these in the final reveal. Okay, for our next ornaments, we are going to take these carrots and we are going to paint them with some chalk paint in 2 different colors. We're going to use Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin, and then we're also going to use Waverly chalk paint in the color moss. And I'm speeding up the video here. We are going to paint the bottom part of the carrot using Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin. And then we're going to paint the top part, which is the leaves of the carrot. We'll be painting that with Waverly chalk paint in the color green. And we're going to paint these on the front and the back, allowing it to dry in between. And I did put 2 coats, if necessary, on these for areas that were a little bit lighter in color. But you can use however many coats that you like for your taste. Then I'm painting the tops here with the Waverly moss. I love the chalk paint. It dries fast. It has a matte finish, which I prefer for most of my projects. It's more of a farmhouse vibe. So I'm just painting these front and back. Now, once they have 2 coats for each color, front and back, then I'm taking just a paint pen. This is one that I got at Walmart, And I'm just adding some hash marks, just some dashes on the orange part of the carrot. And that just really makes it have a lot more details, makes it a lot more whimsical. And then I'm taking a brown paint pen, this is a Posca paint pen, and I'm just drawing some lines going from where the orange and green are connected, and then I just, added some lines in there. Then I'm taking some ribbon and I'm wrapping the ribbon around and just dotting some hot glue. It's kind of a tan and black gingham check ribbon, and I'm just taking that and wrapping it around and gluing it down to kind of separate the orange and the green. Look how cute they're looking. And then we're going to put some more of that thin yarn in, and I did again use about a 12-inch piece of yarn for each of the ornaments to hang them from, making project 2 complete, and I'll give you a closer look at the final reveal. All right, on the bunnies, we're going to keep them the natural wood, and we're going to paint with a Posca paint pen in the color pink. We're just going to come in where the ears are, and we're going to color in the pink. And while I have that pink paint pen, I'm also coloring in a little nose with the color pink. And I'm going to do this on all 5 of the ornaments. Then I take a brown paint pen and I draw 3 little lines coming off the nose for whiskers. Then for the tails, we're going to take and glue on a pom-pom. Then I'm going to draw just almost like a little oval shape for each eye. And then I take a white paint pen and kind of shade around the ears just to kind of soften the transition between the pink and the natural wood. And then I take and flip the ornaments over, and we do the exact same steps on the back side of these little bunny ornaments. Then I took also a brown paint pen and I went around the edges of the bunny, drawing on some little hash marks to make it look like stitching. And then you see me here using about a 12-inch piece of yarn for each of these to tie on a hanger. I'll finish putting on those hangers off camera, and that makes this project complete. I'll show you how they look in the final reveal. And for our last project, we're going to be painting these little chick ornaments. I also got these from the Dollar Tree. We're using Craft Smart paint on these in the color light yellow, and I'm painting everything but the legs and the beak. Then I'm just using my heat tool to dry the paint. And then I'm going to put a second coat on the chickies, and we're going to put that on the front and back side. Once the yellow paint is dry, we're taking our Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin, and we're going to paint the legs and feet as well as the little beaks. Once the orange paint is dry, I come in with a black paint pen and put a dot for the eye. Then I come back in with a white dot smaller than the black dot to give the eye some expression. For the wings, I have some scrapbook paper in black and white, and I just cut out freehand the shape of wings, and then I take an Elmer's glue, permanent glue stick, and put a coat of the glue on the back of each of the wings that I cut out of scrapbook paper, and I glue them down front and back on the chickies. And then I decide to take the white Posca paint pen, and I'm going to do a little bit of shading between the beak and the legs where the yellow and the orange meet, and then I come on to the top of his hair where the little tuft of fur is, and I color that in with white as well, just to give it another little special touch. Then I take my black paint pen and I draw some little lines to kind of separate the toes on his feet, and then I draw dashes going around the chickie, making the stitches a little bit different than we did on the rabbit, and you'll see in the close-up pictures. I did little dashes all the way around it to make it look like stitching, and this just really makes them look high-end. Then the final step is to put the yarn on each of the ornaments, and I'll let you see what these turned out like in the final reveal. And here is a look at the final reveal. Here are my egg ornaments. the carrot. I just love how these turned out. You'll have to tell me down in the comments below which one is your favorite. Let me know if you're going to give these a try. I think my favorite of this bunch is the chickie. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, drop a comment down below, share, and click the bell. All of those things help me more than you know. I really appreciate you spending time with me here on my channel, and I hope you will give some of these crafts a try. I'll see you in the next video.